What's up? What's up? What's up, YouTube? What's up? What's up, YouTube? What's going on? Happy Friday. Yes. It is Friday and we got another setup going on. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome. We have another setup going on. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We have another beautiful setup going on. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome to Friday evening hangout and chat. Yes. We were having technical difficulties, but you already know I'm gonna figure it out and we're gonna get to the bottom of it. Welcome. It is Friday. Yes. Thank you guys for all your likes, your shares, your subscriptions. We are up to 484 family members over here strong. So thank you, God, for tuning in with me, hanging with me, chilling with your girl. Definitely tonight. If you know, we go over a mental health topic, and then we go see what's going on YouTube, and then we'll go over what's going on Fanbase. But yes, it has been a wonderful 2 weeks. Speaking of mental health, it's been Mental Health Awareness Month, and if anybody knows me, I'm about my business, my positivity, my uplifting, and much more. So definitely, that is what I do around these parts. Yeah, I'm on Fanbase. You can import your TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and much more. Everything that I mentioned is linked in the bio. Linked in the bio. But yeah, you know, speaking of, fan base has been having a lot of mental health people and guests regarding mental health. And speaking of your mental health, how was you guys week? You know what I'm saying? How was you guys week? How was you guys week? How's everything going with you? You know what I'm saying? Everything cool? Everything A1? Definitely stay tuned, stay tapped in with me. Okay. Our message of the week is boundaries. Okay. Boundaries. You know what I'm saying? These last couple of weeks I've been working on, maintaining boundaries. And I've been coming across a lot of people who don't even understand how boundaries set forth the standard for your mental health. Setting boundaries with yourself, setting boundaries with other energies, you know, that sort of thing. But setting boundaries in lesson 2 of the week, you know what I'm saying? Staying focused and making sure you're getting adequate amount of rest and making sure you get an adequate amount of sleep. Okay, getting adequate amount of sleep. In a minute, we will be going over Two Face at 7 o'clock. We'll be going over the fan base at 7 o'clock. They are having a mental health audio room, so we will be going over there. We will be going over there at 7 o'clock. So I just wanted to come in early. We usually be here at 6:30, but we mental health audio room. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you loving the quality, the change, definitely stay tuned with me. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and share my screen. Let's go ahead and share the screen. Um, yeah, share the screen. Mm. Mhm. Wait a minute. What? Stop sharing. Hold up. Okay. Share screen. Entire screen. Okay. Go. There we go, guys. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yes, yes, yes. Definitely tapping in. Definitely tapping in. Mm. Let's go on over here. I'm gonna leave right to this one, to this screen right here. Let's see. Let's see. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I'm feeling much better. You know, been having you know, a lot of off season. So, definitely I wanted to tap in with you guys and reset the energy and, you know, focus back on ourselves. Let's go and see what's going on. Goodness gracious, y'all. Goodness gracious. Look at loving. If you loving our new setup, let me know. Down in the comments below. Queen Monica Love TV. Queen Mo has been growing and changing and evolving and evolving. Yes, definitely been evolving. Um, up to new things, trying new devices out, and that sort of thing. So, What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? See, this is what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep going, we're gonna keep moving. Getting ready to share my screen. Getting ready to share my screen. That's what we getting ready to do. That's what we were doing. Thank you guys, thank you guys, thank you guys. Friday evening hangout and chat. Friday evening hangout and chat. We keep going around here. Thank you guys. We are up to 484 beautiful family members over here on YouTube. Anything you need to know, link in the bio link in the bio for Fanbase is the first link. Second link is the investment link to Fanbase, which we'll be going over. And yes, third link um, is my link tree. It's definitely my link tree. But you know what I'm saying? I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Mental health. Thank you guys. We are up to 484 family members. Making sure you checking the lives out. Making sure you definitely checking the lives out. I'm definitely dropping lives here every week. Okay, two lives a week. I've been doing lives, and yeah, this live last week was with the cannabis brand, so check that out as well. And we're getting ready to go over to another audio room, so check that out. Yeah, so yeah. All right, all right, all right. Let's see. Definitely. Videos, channels. This is my channel for my company. I am my sister's keeper LLC. Yesterday they had the last mental health room they had yesterday was with this gentleman. He's an actor, and we're definitely getting around, doing positive things. Fan base is definitely giving 100% revenue, so 100% revenue. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? Trying to uncut my technical difficulties, but we gonna keep it pushing. Okay, what's good. And so they had a cannabis brand there before. So these are all the wonderful people that they had over there for mental health. Okay, so there. All right, let's go ahead and see what's going on YouTube. What's been going on YouTube? Let's tap in. Going on. Let's definitely tap in and see what's popping on YouTube. Okay. Um, I've been doing my meditation music, affirmations, and different things like that. They are talking about Trump was convicted. Um, yeah, they talking about Trump was convicted. I don't know the exact details, but definitely tell me what y'all think about Trump being convicted. Don't at this present time, I have not been keeping it up with that. I've been trying, not trying, doing what I need to do in the positive energy, right? So that's what I've been doing, building my brand, working. I've been having my morning rooms, and I've been concentrating on mental health for fan base. So yeah, so it look like ain't nothing really going on. Ain't really going on. I do watch people react to videos. Um, yeah, so if you knew, I go after Friday evening hangout and chow. We'll be going over to fan base and we will be definitely having game night. So if you subscribe to me on that platform, chance to win 1,000 loves and much more. But Americans are broke. Okay. Americans are broke. We not. So do y'all think we broke as a society? No, really. Do y'all think we broke as a society? I don't necessarily think that we broke. I think people misplace their money and we're not taught to invest our money or how to do our money. A lot of us learned how to work our money um, just by trial and error, losing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily think that we're broke. That's per se. You know, you know. Everybody's situation is different, but I don't broke per se. Okay. So that's that. Ooh, yeah. Think we're broke. No, no. Okay. It's all for profit. It's all for profit. Man, he be saying some stuff, and if y'all been around me a minute, and I keep it all the way real. Okay, so this is interesting. Biggie's mother wants to, you know, allegedly slap the, what I'm saying, out of this man's mouth, and like I said, I've been keeping my eyes and focusing on what I need to focus on. Okay, like when you get to going down the different rabbit holes, when you get to going down um the different situations, when you get to going down crazy timelines, it's like it ain't like you lose focus of what you supposed to be doing, right? So that's why I've been keeping my eyes on my prize, what I'm saying, staying focused, staying positive, that sort of thing, that's that sort of thing, staying positive, staying interesting, staying on top of it. That's weird, but it's true and strategic. Um, so yeah, let's go head over and go to the link tree. My link tree is always linked in the chat and in the description box. Linked in the chat and in the description box. So yeah. So really go over fan base. Go to the audio room. Right. So this is my link tree. This is my beautiful link tree. That's fine. This is my company. I am my sister's keeper LLC, where I help women get their mind, body, soul, and spirit together. Okay, this energy readings, the whole nine. Okay. So you can book your energy readings. The whole design. What's good? What's good? What's good? Yeah. Okay. So I work on spirituality, um, spiritual. So helping you build your spiritual energy. That is what I do. That is definitely what I do. So if you need that or you need appointment, or if you don't need an appointment, you can purchase some product, purchase some merch to support. Um, yeah, you can purchase some products to products to support. Okay, products to support. Okay, so we have that, and then we also have Black Women's Business Expo sign up sheet, um, collecting data, for building, a Black uh, business women directory of women from all background ages, who are just a resource hub for women, you safely vetted women, you know what I'm saying? So that's that. Um, this is my shop. This is my shop. Okay, this is my shop. The Love Club. We getting ready to go over. You get discounts. You get discounts in this store. You get discounts on my page. So that's that. And your girl has Avon. Your girl definitely has Avon. Definitely have Avon. Okay. Definitely. So check your girl out. Definitely check your girl out. Got Avon for you. Yeah, who's been dealing with Avon? Who's been dealing with Avon? Who's heard of Avon? Shoot, if you haven't heard of Avon, you want to become a rep, you know what I'm saying? Let me know. Um, there's different, avenues and factors, you know, going on. hmm So definitely check that out as well. Okay. Okay, so let's go. Let's see. Okay, these are the sales and different things going on. Let's go to the digital brochure. Mhm. Digital brochure. Digital brochure. Okay, this book. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, hit that like button. That like button. That like button. That like button on the playback. Like button. Cut hard. If there's technical difficulties, I push through. And I should just get like, oh, just that. Been in the game for 10 years, 10 years, 10 years, and gonna keep it pushing. Gonna to keep it pushing. You got to push. Okay. You definitely got to push through. You got to push through. You got to push through. I know, y'all. Like, it's hard. But it's not hard because you got your girl. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and see what's going on. All right. I'm loving. I love this color. This this pink. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful color. hmm Pink, pink, pink. So that's a color. Right. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Okay. Definitely, definitely stay tuned. All right. All right. And check your girl out. Check your girl out. Okay, so these are all the beautiful products for Avon. You subscribe to my fan base page, you get discounts on all types of stuff, you know. It's by being a subscriber, you get loyalty, mm, gifts, and you know what I'm saying, rewards, and definitely, definitely stay tuned, okay? All right. All right, all right, all right. Wait a minute. Okay, this is my favorite one, but this one smells excellent too. So check out all my product reviews and different things on over here on Fanbase. I've been, the Fanbase, you can import your TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, make money right away. We getting ready to go over there. In fact, the countdown begins. We are making our way over there. We are making our way over there now because they are getting ready to have a mental health audio room. They're getting ready to have a mental health audio room at 7 o'clock. So we getting ready to go tap on that at 7 o'clock. So definitely have to stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? If you have not, make sure you subscribe. So that's the Avon brochure. That is the Avon brochure. What is going on? Mm. Oh my goodness gracious. We keep going. Okay. Oh my goodness, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm telling What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? What's good with you? Anyways, back to what we were doing. It is almost showtime. It is almost showtime. We can get ready to go over to fan base to the audio room. So definitely, definitely check me out. Going to fan base. Let's go on here and let me go and share my screen. Definitely go and share my screen yet again. All right. So let me go share my screen. You know what? We just about to go straight over there. We just about to go over the fan base. Is what we getting ready to do. Because that's where the universe wants us to go. Happy, happy, happy. Let's go, let's go. Share the screen. Share the screen, share the screen. Happy Friday. What's going on over fan base? Link for the link tree is in my bio. It's in the chat. It's in the chat. It's in the chat. It's definitely in the chat. You know what I'm saying? It is in the chat. Okay, we're gonna go over to fan base. But before we do that, let's go ahead and thing. Can invest. You can invest in fan base. Mm, mm, let's definitely go over that as well. Yeah. What's good? What's good? Okay, let's invest in fan base. Let's go over the fan base because we not. What is going on today? We just not. This is what I'm saying about having proper mental health. We don't keep doing what we're doing. Okay, we went over here to fan base. 'Cause that's where the universe want me to go. I'm trying to do everything else, but everything else is everything else. It's everything else. So everybody, welcome to Fanbase. Yes, welcome to Fanbase. Mm, okay, Fanbase. Okay, um, let's go over the investments I have to. We're raising $17 million and let you know about that. Okay. Um yeah. All right. And base. Okay, fan base. You can invest. Okay. All right, guys. Fan base. Okay. This is fan base investments. It's $3.99 to invest. Okay. $3.99 to invest. Um, okay, this is all the terms, things you get. Price per share, $6.65. Um, February 27th to 2:59 a.m. Breakdown. Um, this is all the info, right? These are um, you receive from investing the different tiers in my link tree. Okay, guys, that's available in my link tree. So definitely description in the description. That's the shares and everything. But let's go ahead because we're getting ready to go to the mental health audio room and we'll be streaming that in a little bit. We're waiting for them to open up. I will be pasting the audio room in the chat so you can listen or watch or do both. But yeah, I'll be posting that in a second. But yes. Fan base. Fan base is giving away. Receive 100% of your revenue, okay, for the next 2 months, okay? So you can download the app. You know, we got a desktop version. You know, uh, we got an audio room section, the whole nine, right? So, um, definitely give it a try. I'm over there often. Matter of fact, when we leave, we are going to definitely, you know, have game night, so um okay. So, all right. So this is fan base. Okay. Um they just had a mental health challenge. So I completed 15 days of each day, and they were giving away $50 for that. So yeah. I also do have paid content. So definitely come over here and check that out. Paid content. Definitely check that out. Okay. Definitely check that out. All right, let's go to the fan base plus videos. I do a news segment on Fanbase page called Morning Quickies, Morning News and Announcements. And these are all the videos that I have over here. Okay, I have a lot of videos. I've been on YouTube for 10 years. For 10 years. What's in the box? I'll be going to do those. My birthday episode. So these, saying? These are all my fan base. I'm what's good? What's good? What's good? We are getting ready to go live over the fan base. We're definitely getting ready to go over the fan base, and definitely tap in. So stay tuned, stay tuned. We getting ready to go over there. It is getting ready to be a live audio room, and definitely, we getting ready to tap in. So let's stay tuned. Let's stay tuned. Oh my goodness. It's getting ready to start in less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes. So we getting ready to go over there. 'Cause I don't know what the heck going on. I do not know what's going on, y'all. I'm gonna have to check my internet because I'm gonna keep going. You know what I'm saying? Let's share my screen. Like, let's see something. 44 minutes. I'm trying to tell y'all fan base and YouTube. We this it's always something. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much I prepare, it's always something. It is always something. It is always something. It is always something. It's always something. But we gonna push through. We gonna do what we gotta do, and that's important. Because like I said, I'm getting ready to stream the uh the audio room that's about to go on now at 7 o'clock. So we getting ready to go on over there. We going on over there. We going on over there. So you know what I'm saying? Definitely. Definitely check us out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we can ready to go over there. Cause that's what we do. But we here every Friday. Tap in, tap in, tap in, tap in, tap in, tap in, tap in. Yes. Fan base mental health awareness month. Let's tap in. Let's go over here. What's going on? We getting ready to go over here. What's good? I'm sharing everything. Mental health awareness month. at 7 o'clock p.m. Now, when I tell y'all I make sure that we still go forward. This is what I mean by tenacity. This is what I mean about that you gotta keep going. Through technical difficulties. This is real time. You know, pushing through, you know what I'm saying? And not let nothing defeat you. You know what I'm saying? It was my whole purpose of getting started early. You know what I'm saying? Because I already knew that, you know what I'm saying, stuff was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Thank you everyone for your likes, your shares. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know. Thank you everyone for your love and support. Your 2 cents really does matter. Enjoy your day and always remember to smile. Yes, you gotta smile. You know what I'm saying? You gotta smile. You gotta smile through all the tenacity. You gotta smile through all the circumstances. You gotta smile. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put on your happy face. You know what I'm saying? You definitely gotta put on your happy face. 'Cause that's what it's about, you know what I'm saying? That's definitely what it's about. Put on your happy face, you know what I'm saying? Putting on, your wonderful, wonderful, wonderful happy space, you know what I'm saying? Being in your happy place and your happy space and you know what I'm saying? So, definitely let's go ahead and get up on over here, you know? Let's definitely get up on over here to fan base because that's where we supposed to be. Universe, like I don't want you streaming nowhere else. I don't want you doing it nowhere else. I want you, I want you over here doing what you supposed to be doing. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and share our screen. Let's go share our screen. Tenacity and I'm not cutting in this stuff because what I seem to be is I don't focus on perfectness. I focus on purposefulness. You know what I'm saying? Being, you know what I'm saying, where I'm supposed to be. That's what I focus on, okay? You know, that's what I focus on. You know what I'm saying? I focus on, purposefulness and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I know. Like I know that could be a lot. You know what I'm saying? That definitely could be a lot. But this is what I want to show people in real time. Being purposeful, doing what you're supposed to. That's what I'm talking about. You know, that's definitely what I'm talking about. That's definitely what I'm talking about. What's going on? It's too much stuff. Okay, so what's going on? Man, I swear. All right. All right, all right. Okay. Now I know I didn't update it. All right, all right, all right. We're going into the audio room. Yeah. Okay. Hey everybody, we in the audio room, okay? We are in the audio room. We're live on Fanbase now. Now you see what? What's good? What's good? Room right now for Fanbase Mental Health Awareness Month. So definitely, that's what we're doing now. Right now. Definitely right now. That's where we're at. It is 6:54, and they are in the audio room. Okay. hmm So definitely, that's what we're waiting on now. And I'm sharing the room. Matter of fact, I'm going to post it over here in the chat. Uh, Fanbase Mental Health audio room. Okay. So that is the chat. That is the audio room that is going on right now. So we waiting on them to start. We definitely waiting on them to start. Okay. So this is what we are waiting on them to start. Like what's everything is acting wacky. I put the information for the audio room in the chat, people. For the audio room in the chat. So, yeah. Okay. So this is this is Fanbase audio. This is it. This is it. This we're waiting on Fanbase audio room. Make sure that you definitely stay tuned. It's getting ready to start shortly. So it's getting ready to start shortly. I put it in the chat to the audio room. I'm sharing the room. They said they're getting started shortly. So I'm sharing it all on my social medias. If you do not know, I'm Fanbase proud, and this is what we're doing. Waiting for it to start. Yep. Waiting for it to start. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, waiting for them to start. Only on Fanbase. It is Friday, and it seems like I'm the only one in here. Tap in. Okay. I'm sharing it. Link to this is in the chat, y'all.
I had to make sure I put the disclaimer in the chat, and I will read it for everyone that actually comes into the room, just to let you all know that.
Okay.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you.
Mental health.
Lady, there's Kyle. Yes, there's a superhero there. I just told him that. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, how are you guys?
I'm good.
Great. Fabulous. We're wonderful. We're waiting.
Well, I just got to where I was going, so, I have a couple minutes where I could open up the room, get everything set. Sorry about that.
Kyle, can we send out like a boost or something for this?
Yeah. It's gonna go out.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sharing the room.
Top.
And I'm live on YouTube.
If we can get the moderators, right?
Yes.
That'd be good.
Yes. You know who the moderators are, so.
Well, can you make us one?
Oh yeah. Just
yeah. And then, Ms. Kita, do you want me to read the disclaimer, or?
I can read it. It doesn't matter. I put it in the chat as well.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Hey, so Kevin, I looked into you a little bit, and man, I like what you got going on. I'm excited to be able to ask you questions and learn about you.
Listen, I appreciate that, brother. Thank you for that.
Yeah, man, the sacred sons thing, man. Like, and yeah, I don't know. I've been looking for, like, I'm really happy about the
after
kind of,
party in the Queen Most Loved In
Cab. Stigma, right? Like, right? Is right?
You're breaking up, Kyle.
Oh, I'm breaking up. I'm sorry. Oh, it's probably because of my mic. Sorry about that. Yeah, so it's it's like breaking the stigma of, in general, talking about mental health, but then actually with men, it is definitely kind of like one of those things where like myself, I don't have a problem talking about it. I'm a very open person, but I also feel like there's like almost like a heavier stigma on men talking about their mental health because they might be seen as like weak or softer or something like that, right? Like some of the
Absolutely
masculinity, and like I'm here for kind of like breaking that stigma. I'm really here for it.
I love it, 100%. That's what you're here to do. It's an important. Yeah, like there's so many facets to the human existence that's so vital that we've conditioned ourselves literally in contradiction of. And I feel like that's one of them, from emotional intelligence to mental health, which are hugely correlated. And then even just what it means to be able to feel and process. And part of what we were doing with Sacred Sons, because the work I do is with men and women and even work with kids as well. But the work we do with the men and part of within the Lightning's container, but also with Sacred Sons, is very much dedicated to that, where it's the the recognition of how important that aspect of ourselves really is to healthy embodiment of man.
Oh, okay. You don't need me.
Kyle, I can hear you. Come on, what's going on? I'm listening. We're listening. Kyle is driving, Kevin.
Oh, no. I'm not driving. Sorry. Talking with Terrell. Yeah. I just got him here. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
That's our intern at Fanbase.
Yeah. But yes. I'm also contacting some people to understand what's going on.
So this is mental health awareness. This is the last day. I did a last live on that. So go check me out. Follow my page.
I think it's really important that we kind of like tell people a little bit more about ourselves.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I'm sure people don't even know. I mean, Sacred Sons is an excellent organization. I just think that it just needs to have its introduction. Kevin can do that as well. But I just think that we just need to have like a little introduction of ourselves.
Of course. So let's just hold on a few more minutes before we even start the room, because I want to make sure more people come in. I see 11 people in now, because some people are just listening from the link on the web. So I just want to make sure more people come in.
Is that people are listening from the web. So just to make sure, since I know that you guys can hear me on web, to clarify, on web you can listen and you can click on the link to donate on behalf of Lady to the organization. The only thing you can't do is interact. Now, if you guys want to interact, you need to download Fanbase, make a profile, and then join the room. But that is just me giving you a quick rundown of what you can't do on web. And let's get back to the backgrounds thing. I want to learn about. I want to learn about everybody on the stage. I mean, Ms. Kita, I know about you. So I want to learn, some of the background and reason why. Like basically, I want to know some of the background and then the reason why you're doing what you're doing now. And I want to know that from Lady, L'Oreal, and Kevin.
Okay, well, wait, before we start doing that, let's do the disclaimer first.
Okay, yeah, I can read that. Yeah, I can read it.
Go ahead. Okay.
All right. I'm pulling it up. All right, so just a disclaimer. Fanbase's application is not intended to provide professional advice, including medical treatment, and any advice shared through the application is for informational and entertainment purposes only, and not as a substitute for professional advice. Fanbase disclaims all liability arising from the information provided through Fanbase's application. If you require professional advice, you should consult with a qualified specialist.
I second that.
All right, I think we have a pretty good number of listeners, people in the room. Thank you, lady, or the lady. And thank you, Kevin and L'Oreal, for being in this room today. We're talking about mental health. And I would like for you, lady, to start. Give everyone in the room some information about you. You have such a colorful bio. I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, I've always had that association of colorful connected to me, so that's just fine. So for me, first of all, I'd like to first thank everyone for being on this platform and coming out today on a Friday evening. I want to also thank Yankita and the whole Fanbase community, Isaac the third, for inviting me to be a part of this. And I, in turn, brought my good buddy and friend Kevin Walton on with me. So I am extremely happy that we're here to talk about mental health and wellness overall, and just to kind of get to the point of that we're helping some great men in this world, or just men in general. And so that is one of the main focuses that I have right now of all the things that I do. I'm in the fashion business, have been for many years. I'm a beauty expert. I'm a lifestyles writer. I've created a platform called Inner Makeup Enterprises, which actually houses the Return of the Gentleman, the Return of the Lady, the Ladies' Dressing Room, which is clothing for you guys who want to know what that is. I have Crack Not Broken. I have several other initiatives under this umbrella, and so it makes me kind of a busy lady. However, within the last year, it came to my heart that I wanted to reintroduce a platform that was really important to me. 10 years ago, in 2013, in December, I presented a platform called The Return of the Gentleman. And so at that particular time, the focus for me was to talk later. So now we have even a bigger issue that's on the table for men, and that is dealing with mental illness issues. In fact, it is the number 3 for me was to talk later. So now we have even that actually bugs me just a little bit. But getting back to how I came into all of this, I'm a mother of 2, was a young mom out of college. And so I was married young, and I had some lived experience from a child, and then lived experience within my marriage, which made it quite difficult for me because I didn't understand a lot of the actions that my former husband had. So I became like that person of just trying to understand him in general. And so because he was so young as well, with a lot of responsibility, having one child, and then later, 2 years later, being married, having one child, and then 2 years later having another child. I'm sure there was a lot of responsibility there for him. But the whole idea at that particular time was he had actions that I just didn't understand. He acted out a lot, and a lot of it I just didn't understand. And it wasn't until later that it was brought to my attention, way down the road, after going through many, many, many challenges, as to that he had also had been a person who had been victimized as a child. So that made it very difficult for me. And so I was determined that once I got to a particular place, this is after the divorce, that I was going to make sure that I shared this with the world to help other women. So owning an organization called the Return of the Lady, which is the very first division of Inner Makeup Enterprises, was to support women. And it was dealing with actually, moms and daughters and that whole particular type of interest. However, the Return of the Lady took a back seat to introduce the Return of the Gentleman, because I don't think that it takes two actually in the relationship. And so for me, knowing that a man that I'm involved with is important for me. So I think that at this particular point in my life, I want to say this: I am definitely, even though I'm a fashion expert and have done things internationally, I am very interested in where we're going with men. I am a mother of a son as well, and so I'm very interested in that. And so I guess I can turn it over to Kevin for a second, so that he can actually share some of his background as well. And then I guess either
the link for the audio room is in the chats.
For sure. Thank you for that, lady.
You're welcome.
And thank you all for being here as well. A little on me, as brief as I can, is I have a spiritual practice, a life path, an operating system I call Creatorhood, that is dedicated to bringing greater self-awareness, greater self-mastery, greater understanding to just how the structure of existence works to everyone, that we could all live into a greater conscious embodiment of everything, conscious decision-making, conscious relational dynamics, just that we're more present and engaged in everything in our lives, and have a great understanding on how we work. And it's dedicated to men, women, children, everybody. And it's really, I feel like the mission and purpose I'm on is just to see the evolution of our species in greater standing, that we're just operating greater into the design and more authentic and more self-actualized in every way. I founded a community and a ministry called the Light Beings Ministry and Light Beings Community, that was creating a container dedicated to
men's health, mental health is very important. Everybody's mental health is important.
So everyone being able to explore the truth of themselves beyond judgment. And that was over a decade ago, and I've been teaching for a little over 12 years on my own personal journey, over 20, just dedicated to understanding how everything works and how we operate from a consciousness perspective, and the energetic and spiritual foundation perspective, and then the practical application of all the things that we do, feel, and apply to the human experience. I'm also one of the leaders in a men's organization called Sacred Sons, that is dedicated to creating a container for men to feel safe enough to be as vulnerable as they can be, to also develop leadership and embodiment and greater understanding and maturation in relationship, and really just in every facet of life. And that's a huge dedication. Like aside from being an actor and a writer, and I have a film studio as well, I feel like that calling in my heart, and part of my purpose in this world is that full dedication to seeing us all evolve in a greater capacity of the self, a greater capacity of the collective, and to see what we do when the energy that we live with, the power that we are, is spent actually creating and experiencing greater, because we will live beyond the idea that we've had to heal from so many ways of misuse of it. So that's a little bit on me, kind of my dedication.
Wow. That's deep, actually.
You see why I had to bring him on my platform,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Get it
lady.
now, huh? I had to grab him quick. For sure.
Well, I really want to kind of just jump right in. I would like to start with you, lady. I know that you touched on being a young wife and mother, and how mental illness affected your relationship and your marriage. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, and also how it affected you as a woman?
Yes, I can. I do have my daughter on listening. L'Oreal's there.
Hi, L'Oreal.
She's not gonna be chiming in today too much. She's a therapist. She's worked all day, so she's just here for the support. But being a young mom, first of all, was like a lot. There was not a plan. Definitely was not a plan. I did not plan to be married. In fact, I was the last person on the planet probably who wanted to be married. And so for me, with being in college, having being proposed to several times by my ex-husband to marry him because this was how he was raised, that he wanted to have that kind of a the family, that kind of thing. And for me, I just wanted to travel the world and model and do the things that I was, wanting to do in life. And so for me, it kind of felt like I had a lot of responsibility, a lot of responsibility. So, due to the fact that I was not clear, that I had known him since I was 9 years old and he was 10. However, there were some things that as we grew, as knowing each other as teens, and then later, as we matured, there were a lot of things I wasn't privy to. So for me to be a mom and being the person that I came from a very strong mom, and God bless my mom's soul right at this moment, she's in heaven. And I came from a very strong mom, and for me to honor her, I had to honor, whatever it was that I was going through at the time. And also at the time, manage a career as a young woman and then manage my two children. I didn't have caretakers. There was no babysitters. There was me as a young mom. And so my ex-husband, he was always just, whether it was drinking, going experimenting with different things. His social experiences were a lot, let's just say that. And it actually at times I felt very not supported. And I still had to do the responsibilities of being a young mom and carry out, the day to day. I'm sure if there are any moms on this today, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And so I had to learn quickly to actually not just do my job, but to also, chime in and do his partially as well. He was a great supporter, great supporter. I mean, excellent supporter. But when it came down to being present, due to what he had endured throughout life as a child, he could not do but, so much. And that was like not really necessarily being physically present, And so that made it hard for me because I made my responsibility deeper or more responsible. And so, like I said, it wasn't until an incident that happened years later that it came out that he had been victimized, like I said, as a child. And it turns out that his family knew it the whole time. Just no one told me, And so I was blinded in this whole situation. However, I did the best I could with growing outside of that whole entire thing, with not letting it affect me, even though it did. I mean, it affected my mom, it affected me in lots and lots of ways. But I think that with women today, if I could say anything to women today, is to fully know who you're marrying, fully know who you're involved with. I think.
Thank you guys again for your time.
How you actually get to know who the person is, because people don't tell you everything. And that was what I lived through. It's just not knowing, everything that I should have known. And unfortunately, that is the past. There is nothing I can do now except to, like I said, step on my platform, the return of the lady, introducing the return of the gentleman, and help that man that needs the support and help. And I love men, always have. And I just think that men need the support at this particular point, because there's so many things that due to toxic masculinity that men are not able to share. And my platform with the return of the gentleman is to encourage men to share. One of the things that I find very special about Kevin is that, and how we kind of came together on this, was that he is a sharer and he encourages men to share, which is important. And I think that if we would have had that when we were younger, or even, even more mature, my ex-husband and I, we probably would have had like a more solid foundation. So hopefully that answers your question. I know it's a little detailed, but, that is a subject I'm really passionate about, is helping women to help themselves with understanding it's not their fault. Now, that was the thing, too. I blamed myself a lot. That it was something I could do. I could save him. I could, like, take him to church, drag him to church, get him to change faiths, all kinds of different things. And none of that worked, what ended up working was that we divorced. That worked. But other than that,
right.
It was tough,
I would think that
Thank you, YouTube.
Your husband not knowing, what was happening with him, if he didn't know, how would you even know? And with you speaking about, without going too deep, and I want to make sure that I remain respectful, self-medicating and all of those things, that's a part of it. And a lot of times people don't recognize it as such. They just think, oh, well, this person likes to drink, or they like to do this or that or whatever, not really realizing that there's really an underlying issue, and that's just the fallout from it.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Can you guys
That's
hear
okay.
me? I can
hear you.
Actually, my phone. I mean, it was all of that. I mean, and I often empathized with him as far as like what was going on within his, within himself, because he obviously was living with the darkness that he had, that he could not share, and I really would just wish he would have shared with me, because I was a very open person. I still am. You can tell me pretty much anything, and I'm still be there and be supportive to you. But for whatever reason, that was not something that he felt that he could share, and so therefore it just led to disastrous effects. And so, and even to this day, now I still find myself reflecting back on what I could have done when it was not my fault. There was nothing I could have done, absolutely nothing. And there are a lot of men who live in shadows. There's a toxic, like I said, masculinity issues that keep men in a dark space, and they have an issue with coming to the light and sharing. And, then you have women who, my whole thing was like, I didn't want to talk a lot as a wife, because I wanted him to speak more. So I did leave the opportunity for him to speak, but he was not a real big talker. So therefore, there was not an avenue that we could actually meet on, that actually we could get these situations taken care of. I mean, and what he did do, which was commendable in a way, was that he became a therapist, which is really crazy.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, he became a therapist in the military, and he did a great job at being a therapist, until I think he started just getting to a point where he started seeing that he was meeting a lot of people that could be relatable. And there became an issue when, the client patient kind of situation, you can relate, but there's not, you can't totally, have a relatable relationship. So all of those kinds of things, took part as far as like making for a very difficult life, and like I said, I look back and I said, gosh, where did the childhood go? Where did all of that go? And I don't have any regrets, though, because what I ended up with was two beautiful young humanitarians who give back to the world, and educators. And so I'm extremely blessed and thankful. But I just think that women just need to know who you are marrying, or who you're dating, or who you're involved with. I think that's real important. So yeah, that's how I feel about all that.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Kyle, were you getting ready to say something?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know that the other background noise was being picked up. I was just going to comment on that and say, like, that's so true. And like when you mention regret, I feel like if you look back on things too much, and regret forms, that's when it becomes bad, right? But if you look back on things to reflect, that's okay. But that's more short term. But yeah, never regret. I'm glad to hear you got the
Well, a lot of therapy. I will say this, and this is something where I definitely wanted to segue into talking about therapy. For me, therapy, meditation, belief in the higher power, all of that is how I've managed through this life to get to this point where I am right at this moment. That is sometimes is what kept me going. Was that I knew I wasn't alone. I might have felt alone, but I knew I was not alone because I relied on other sources, like I said, spiritual things, going out and to church and just seeking therapy in general. And so to this day, I believe in therapy, and I want to encourage people who are on the fence about therapy. It is one of the best things you can ever do for yourself. I don't know where I would be without my therapist. She holds all the secrets to this lady, but I'm so grateful and thankful to have that. And I think that we all need to be more fine with that, especially men. I definitely want to encourage men to share. I think it's just so important that you understand that that therapy is an answer. The first thing is to address the issue, that there is something there. It's just like if you have heart disease. What do you do if you have heart disease? You go and see a heart specialist. It's the same thing. If you have things that are bothering you or challenging you in the mental space, you go and see what? You go and see a therapist. And there's so much help out in the world. Like right now, I just became a board member on NAMI, which is the National Alliance of Mental Illness. And so that platform is one of the largest grassroots mental health organizations in the country. And so it's dedicated to serving and helping to build lives for millions of people out in the world that are dealing with mental illness. And the crazy thing is,
I know about NAMI. I'm part of NAMI.
in 79 that these particular families came together and created NAMI. And that was to help to be the nation's leading, mental health resource. So now NAMI has affiliated over 700 communities out in the world, within 48 states. And their prime focus is to educate, advocate, listen, and lead. So I want to encourage people out there that's listening to rely or to connect with NAMI, because NAMI has all kinds of different services, as I just said, that could help. In fact, I want to also go so far as to encourage you that if you feel so led to donate to this organization, because there is a major focus on ethnic people, ethnic men in general, ethnic people as well. And so I think it would be a great platform.
I really appreciate NAMI. They have done a lot for me.
That's wonderful. I want to bring Kevin into the chat for sure. I want to, hear from you as a man of color, and with your sacred sons and light beings, all of that. Have you come across many men personally that struggle with mental health illness? And if so, what is the common thing that you hear?
Yeah, I've come across many, even from actual clients, because I do work like private sessions and work with individuals, couples, and organizations. I even used to work at recovery centers. I think it's an interesting thing when dealing with mental health, because there's such a correlation of everything involved. What I always approach everyone from is that body, mind, spirit connection, and understanding how much the struggle of processing emotions actually is what most mainly affects mental health. What emotions are processed or not processed. And what I found is
man, that's so powerful.
Life is designed to be lived, and how little it is actually talked about or presented in that way, and how much that's been a huge factor. And then there's other circumstances that are more on the extreme side, because I work with people that have schizophrenia, I've worked with people who have multiple personalities, and I've worked with people who are, diagnosed depression, all these different facets. And being able to take the time to listen and explore, to recognize where they are, is crucial and critical. And there's a lot of spaces that we've created as a society that's been more dedicated to if it seems like it's a longer drawn out thing, there's this idea of like just medicate and move on. And I think that that's also what we do as a populace, where if we don't know how to address what's going on with us, we just find ways to cope, and none of that is actually like solves anything. It just builds and perpetuates. And that, so when I've worked with people, or even just had conversations with friends, or navigated where people are, it's being able to explore and understand where someone is, and then being able to reveal to them facets of where they are, has always been one of the most effective ways I've watched these things change from depression, when exploring what sadness someone has, and then the judgment they have towards sadness, that then there's anger present, then the anger's turned to them. So when I get them to express anger outward, now we can touch the sadness, now energy can move, and now we're not dealing with depression anymore. And you don't have to have a pill for that. Like, that's just genuinely understanding what's happening in someone's consciousness, what's happening with them emotionally, and how to redirect energy properly. And it's these kind of things that foundationally I don't see as widely taught and developed. And so we have just, and even as we know, like now we have a greater lens of talking about emotions. And I had a huge portion of my practice dedication to understanding emotional intelligence, because we still teach people there's such a thing as positive and negative emotions, and they're not. And part of that belief is what stifles the ability to process emotions properly. You know, so when I'm navigating with people and I see what they're struggling with, the biggest common denominator I found with anyone struggling with any form of mental health is a true lack of awareness of what's actually going on in them. And then by the natural side effect, just finding some way to get by and to cope, that always inadvertently perpetuates it more, because it doesn't actually address. It's like putting a Band-Aid on something but not addressing what's actually there. And that's why when we think of the idea of trauma, you know, what trauma is simply emotional charges, that a degree of a charged, intensified energy unprocessed. So if someone has an experience bigger than they can comprehend or process in that moment, that energy stores somewhere, but energy is designed to move. So eventually it has to come out, because all of us are designed to keep living life forward. And the more we want to grow in ourselves, the more all that energy has to free up. And that's when we have the experiences that brings that stuff back up. And if we have the proper tools, the proper awareness, the proper understanding, then we know how to meet it differently and can process the energy. And these are just a few facets of what I see happen and how to navigate. And I'll give you one example that really urged me living into this direction. I had a buddy who lived in Fort Lauderdale just a few years after I moved to South Florida. And I wasn't even fully teaching the way I am now. This was a lot of years ago. I think I was even still just doing music at the time. And there's this guy that was homeless named Eddie that was in his area, and Eddie was diagnosed schizophrenic, and he was also just a phenomenal artist. Like he could draw mosaic Buddha heads on a t-shirt with a Sharpie. It was just fascinating. And when I would listen to him, you at face value, it just sounded like he was all over the place, right? Like just in the concept of insanity, where there was no reference point to what he was saying. But I was so fascinated by him that I just sat and would just listen. And I noticed that the correlation of what he was stating wasn't horizontal. And what I mean by that is when he would say a sentence, it sounded like 4 different lives. But when I kept hearing him say other things, where it started to correlate was vertical. And so this portion of this sentence, and then the next thing he said, that same portion connected. The other ones then started to connect. And then when I started to recognize that, I realized that he ended up expressing this, where he had done like this massive experience that kind of fragmented his mind, and he just didn't know how to put himself back together. So he had all these different channels open of experience that made no sense to him because they didn't correlate together. So then when I was able to point out to him what version of him and what version was online when he would say a certain thing, he started to be able to identify himself there. And the more that he could identify himself there, the more integrated he became. The more integrated he became, the more functional he became. And that took time. You know, and it took time without judgment. You know, it's like, instead of me labeling him crazy, it was, this man is somewhere. And and you just have to be able to navigate where he is and start finding this. And I firmly believe this, and I haven't had an experience that disproves it, that is the case for literally everyone. That if we had enough infrastructure, enough time, enough personnel, enough proper training, everyone can be found somewhere. Everyone can be reached. And some it might take longer than others, but it's possible. And so I live by that, and I watch it prove itself. And so when I think about the reference point of our journey in life, the same way when dealing with men in spaces, and even with women, like when I'm working across the board, it's a fascinating thing to watch the self-judgment people have towards their own masculinity or femininity because of narratives or personal experiences. And whatever we do that stops us from accepting an aspect of our lives, our experience, will stifle the creative energy of us. And whatever stifles creative energy of us will be a place where we are unhealthy. And if we do not know how to identify that and properly reorient and integratively restore, it just builds and gets more distorted. And enough people do that, you have a society operate like that. And then what does the society do? Find ways to cope. And then we just create counterproductive behavior patterns to reinforce it.
Chaos.
So yeah, 100%. 100%.
I want to. I'm sorry, Kyle.
Go ahead.
Before I forget. When
Make sure y'all like this.
I notice a lot of men, not just men of color, but more so with men of color, there's a stigma that goes along with mental health challenges. That we definitely, we all need to deal with, not just men, but women that are affected by it as well. How do you deal with that with your clients? Because I find that sometimes people are more okay with saying, when they self-medicate, I know people that do have mental health issues that are more okay with saying, oh yeah, I'm an alcoholic, or I've done this, that say that they have a mental health issue. How do you deal with that?
And I love it. Being able to get someone to look at something differently is kind of what I offer when I think about health, right? Most of the definitions we have health in our society are expressed through the absence of illness.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't live life in absences. We live life in whatever is here. Mm-hmm. And so when I defined health, I defined it as something operating the way it's designed and something operating in the most efficient, effective, and sustainable way. Mm-hmm. And so that gave me a reference point of how to measure the nature of a person and myself even, and where we are. So then having friends, especially people of color and marginalized groups, because one of the things we navigate in those spaces is the narrative of it's a harder road, so we have to be able to shoulder more, and therefore any sign of vulnerability is a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
And how do you handle people not receiving?
To let that be the foundational reference point as to that's what or who we are.
Yes.
And so when I navigate with people, it's an invitation into remembering the actual foundation and reference point of our lives, and then how this represents a misalignment with that. Mm-hmm. And so and even ways we've found humor in things, right? Like it's like something as minor as the itis, right? We laugh about people getting the itis, but that's an actual unhealthy thing. Yeah. Right? Like if we eat to the point that we get tired, that's actually unhealthy. Mm-hmm. And we crack jokes about it, but it's like even something as minor as that, where it becomes a cultural reference, mm-hmm. is something that we start to bring to light to realize there's still greater ways we can function. And so when I'm dealing with anyone who either doesn't want to move by the lens that there's a mental health issue, because maybe the idea of that is already taboo or has a stigma associated with it, it really just becomes being able to speak to them in a way that the reference I use is, do you genuinely feel like you can always operate as your fullest authentic expression of self?
Finding mental health qualified care, it's a big disconnect. How would you handle that?
Of the hard times we struggle with, we have that survivor mentality, and I that's another thing I bring to light is the nature of responsibility, which is you experience what you experienced as a child, you experience what you experienced in this country, and you have awareness now enough to start making decisions that can take your life in a different direction if you're willing to.
Amen.
And you have the say in where your life can go if you're willing to own your voice. And in order to do that, you have to be able to own your feelings and your emotions and the decisions you have made from them in a greater awareness. And so to me, it's being able to get everyone to a point of personal responsibility. Even if they don't have that strong spiritual connection, I'll start there because that's the most practical thing to reach. Mm-hmm. And so I'll ask them, when you feel like your choices are not in your command, when you feel like you're more reactive, what is that? And we start to be able to touch on where they're not operating in a greater lens of that authentic embodiment. And that kind of helps redirect it. And being a part of groups where we really have a long conversation about the consciousness of a peoples. Mm-hmm. We talk a lot about what the cultures are, what the history is, as to then understand the patterns of behavior and development and survival mechanisms, because we're designed for it. If we've ever been through rough times in any facet, in distorted human experiences, we have to be able to understand.
There is a big gap. There is a big gap between, everybody. I'm gonna tell you, everybody does not want to go to a psychiatrist, a mental health therapist. I'm just gonna tell you, there's a big disconnect. There's a big disconnect on that. I'm just gonna say that here. For those listening to me, there's a big disconnect. It's all out of whack. So be free.
Like they're putting themselves in emotional danger to do so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't realize that they are operating in fight or flight mode, and some people have been operating in that for decades. And it's hard to see that because you're inside of it, so you don't recognize it as such. You recognize
and everybody the same.
Woman up, put your big girl panties on, whatever. And you have to operate through the world that way. And when you have so many people not recognizing that within themselves, it's chaos. It's just chaos.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And so for me, Kevin, I think you just hit so many nails on the head with all of that. I really, really do. And I know this is why I was excited to, have you on stage and, co-hosting this room. Speaking about like kind of the social aspect of it, right? You said, you touched on some of the like self-medicating things, but what I've seen, with myself, right? I'm 27. So, just over the past couple of years, with some of my friends, males, instead of self-medicating as much, they've been self-diagnosing. And I see that, but instead of, kind of like trying to go over it, right? Even if they self-diagnose, which is not a great thing, when they self-diagnose, they kind of hold it in until it's too late, right? And so I have had a couple friends that have had to go to either a rehab or, different places, right? Because they think they figured out what was wrong with them by self-diagnosis. It was not what was wrong. And, they took a complete turn of where they're supposed to go. And
so let me repeat, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has freedom of choice. Don't everybody need take everything with a grain of salt and search it with your spirit. You understand me? understand me. This is a great room, but we also have to take into consciousness of everything that's going on. So I don't want you guys to be focused on everything. Take the message that you can, because psychiatry is not for everybody, and it's not always you. It's working on spirit and self. You know what I'm saying? You just I'm just being aware. Continue.
What they may believe is going on with them, or just what's going on with them in general, is because of the fear almost of social backlash and the toxic masculinity. But I wanted to know how you thought about that.
Yeah, well, so I'm not really a big proponent on the concept of toxic masculinity. I speak in terms of understanding. Yeah. So there's a thing that foundationally, what I teach in the practice is understanding that there's an alignment principle to life, and that everything is either operating in alignment or misalignment. And masculine and feminine is a principle of energy. So they're two. It's a relational dynamic of how energy works, and it's literally in everything. But it doesn't start with the concept of men and women. It is built into how energy functions in existence, and then from that, I'll take you on a journey and map out then how it's played out inside of all of us, because we all have the masculine and feminine principles and traits and elements in us, and then there's the physical representation as an archetype identified, and that's the concept of sex and man, woman, and then even if it's transgender, male, transgender woman, it's the idea of representing these facets physically to a certain degree, and then that's a different kind of conversation. But the notion of it is still the same, and so what I look at it as is there's a way that masculine and feminine traits, attributes, qualities function when they're aligned, and then there's a version of how they function in misalignment, and misalignment means when we're improperly.
I'm just telling you now. I take everything with a grain of salt, and that's just me. You know what I'm saying? On the playback, way back, I take everything with a grain of salt. So when you get to know me, you get to know my philosophies on everything.
There's a theme to that where the self-fulfilling prophecy of I'm going to convince myself and believe that this is what I am, and therefore will hold to that, and then that will inadvertently perpetuate a narrative rather than solve anything. And being able to understand really the design of our patterns of behavior in a culture that thinks of how things are supposed to be handled. When I teach the understanding of emotional intelligence, I think I saw a comment that said that feelings and emotions aren't real based on true self, but what I would say to that is there's a way they are experienced in the true self, and there's a way they're experienced in a misaligned conscious mindset. And when we think of the culture that says just deal with it, get over it, move on, it's moving is one portion of it. It's a bigger equation, but it really breaks down to three facets. All of us living life fully embodied and comprehensive in our existence, it would be that we receive, we process, and that we utilize. Sometimes people will stay in the receiving part where it's the acknowledgement, I feel this emotion, or I'm going through this, and then they dwell in it, which is not the healthy thing to do. Mm-hmm. Then they acknowledge it and they receive it, and then they start to process it, but they're always in the processing. I just gotta meet my anger, meet my anger. I gotta punch out my anger, but they never address where the anger is coming from, right? And then they just live in the notion that that's just who I am, just an angry person, which is also not a true state. And then they'll stay there, and not get to the third part. And the third part is that once you can receive and process the information and the energy properly, now you have the ability to redirect it, and it has to be redirected. The energy, because we live life like that. Wherever we focus, we're channeling creative energy. Mm-hmm. So then the other part of that is people will skip the other two and they just go, I'm not even going to deal with this. I'm just going to move. I'm just going to work. I'm just going to handle them. I'm just going to do whatever. And then eventually it builds too much for them to ignore. And that's when it's just kicks in the door and is flooding into your home and your life. And if we were all operating in the greatest lens of awareness, we'd recognize that relationship and apply all three every time. And the better we get at that, the quicker it moves, but not out of an act of avoidance. And so even the ways of coping, or the just getting over things, and this is just how life is, and we just have to deal with it, becomes, okay, so I'm designed to to embody something in life, and I'm designed to do something from that embodiment, to contribute, to share my gifts. And I'm also designed to receive information as it comes, and our emotions provide us information. Our experiences provide us information. The results of our decision-making provide us information, and when people speak to us and reflect to us things in their own experience, that's also used for information. And I don't necessarily call it projection. What I say is if someone's speaking of their experience of someone, whether it's accurate or not, it's all just reflection. And what they're reflecting is, this is the current experience I'm having of you. And if they're having that experience of you, for us to be able to receive someone doing that, it goes, okay, so how is this showing up for me? If someone's had an experience of me and I know it's not accurate, how would I meet them? Because what we will do is just pass it off, right, and say, whatever, I'm not dealing with that. You know what I'm talking about. Instead of like, why is that the experience you're having of me, especially if it's not true? So then it becomes a different exploration. And these are all the different facets of kind of human relating and authentic relating and communicating that I also teach. And but being able to understand the actual flow of that, because that's in everything. Like when we learn in school or learn in life, when we're receiving emotions, when we're communicating, everything in life operates in that relationship. Something is received, something is processed, something is utilized, right? That's what's supposed to happen when we eat. That's supposed to happen in all things. We receive, we process, we utilize. And so that's part of the invitation is we're watching our society operate in one of those three on a regular basis, but that is absolutely not healthy. And it will compound the more that we do it, because the proper flow of life is the ability to do all three and do it as efficiently, effectively, and sustainable as possible. And sometimes one part might take a little longer, especially if it's related to a more intense experience or a more valued thing. But it still doesn't change the fact we still have to be able to process it and put it to use, be able to redirect it. So if we recognize, like I feel anger because I feel disrespected, and I recognize how much I'm not living in my own integrity, and I feel like I've disrespected myself, and now I'm seeing it show up outside of me in these 4 ways. Can I meet that? Can I own the fact that I feel angry? Can I honor the version of me that feels disrespected? Could I then redirect that energy into having a conversation that says, look, we don't have to talk to each other like this. We can meet each other like that and move. Right now you have the process of being able to redirect energy and change the flow that changes the course of your life. And that is a practice, and that is self-mastery. But it is a journey.
I want you to take everything with a grain of salt. I want you to do your personal research. I want you to soul search. I don't want you to walk and learn anything that is not of you. Do you understand me?
Sometimes we have really awesome discussions around it. Because what I teach is that feeling really is the truth.
I don't like the word teach.
Communicated through some form of state and sensation.
Teach.
And that's what vibratory expressions of energy is.
I don't like the word teach.
Isn't so much that as much as it's what we struggle with the most as a species, that we do not understand what emotions and feelings are telling us. So like if I'm committed to working out 5 times a week and doing X, Y, and Z things, there's a commitment to that. There's a dedication. There's going to be days where I'm like, I don't know if I'm feeling like doing this today, right? And what I call that one is called a threshold. If I worked out 4 days straight on a regular basis, but every time I got to day 5, I stopped. That's the pattern of my threshold. That's the capacity I've now been operating. But if I want to do something greater, I have to be able to go from 4 to 5 to 6 and so on. So what I'm going to do by the end of day 4,
I don't like the word teach because you don't have to do nothing. You don't have to do nothing that you don't want to do. Do you understand me? On a playback, way back. Absorb this information with a grain of salt.
Telling you don't do something. That's the facilitator telling you where the edge of where you're going is. But then there's the other time where if I am working really hard and steady and my body is exhausted, my body's saying, can you please just rest so that you can come back stronger tomorrow? That is a different expression. That does require that I take this day to rest because I will come back stronger tomorrow. And that's one of the reference points that we have to also come to understand, which is this decision, does it move me forward, advance me, progress me, evolve me, mature me, or not? If it doesn't, then that means I'm hitting a threshold. If it does, then that means it's an actual moment for rest. And the little things like that, like grown in someone's conscious awareness, could drastically change their greater understanding of emotions and feeling states. And then how the mind is involved, because part of this is the mind's understanding, the way we process information, the way that we understand dynamics and then can redirect them. And that relationship of the body, mind, spirit, and what these energetic conduits that emotions are, support our ability to live in that greater awareness.
And what do I say? Helping the body, mind, soul, and spirit. But we don't use the word teach around here. Freedom of mind, freedom of space.
It does just give you a reference point of some kind of impulsions or behavior patterns or choices and habits that we play out. But it's not designed for it to be a label that we walk around our lives with as that's what I am, because we're still more than that always. Mm-hmm. Even with the concept of like ADHD, it's the hyperactivity means there's a lot of creative energy alive, and that is actually just a muscle to harness. The focus muscle is rarely trained properly, and if people understood how to train that properly, ADHD and AD wouldn't be anything for anyone to worry about at all, because they just understand how to put it to use properly. Mm-hmm. So even something to that degree changes how we experience things, because we're constantly defining the nature of how we experience everything in our lives, and that's a huge proponent to inadvertently perpetuating things we would actually want to change.
Agreed. Ms. Kita, I'm not sure if you have any certain questions right now, but I definitely have a question to ask, and I want everybody to be involved in it. Do we think that the reason why people aren't talking about mental health more is because the fear of social backlash, or just the being uneducated about it? That's always my question. Is
it's not being uneducated.
It's not talked about more. Is it?
It's not being uneducated. I'm listening to their answers, but it's not being uneducated.
I think it's both.
It's not just.
There was a lack of awareness around it. I think for a long time we just behaved a certain way in the course of our history, and no one thought to think about it from a mental health standpoint, right? I think about that even when we had wars and people came back from wars. There was a lot of emotional disconnection and even disassociation in the mental, and it was just an acknowledgement of well, yeah, they went through something in the war. That's just what it is. Some people were deemed crazy if it was a lot more enigmatic, but there was just a lack of awareness. And then I think on the other side of that, when people were, it was usually shown in a way of being an insane, out of touch with reality person, and no one wants to be associated with something like that. And so then I feel like there's a huge fear of the judgment in the social backlash. But for a long portion of time, I would say it was definitely a lack of awareness as to why it wasn't discussed. And so I think it's not an either or. I would say it's both.
Lady?
Yeah. Do you see how patient I am to let men talk? Do you see that? That is why I named my organization years ago, The Men Are Talking. Because I've learned so much from men. Every now and then, though, this lady does want to jump in and say something. So here I go. I believe that dealing with the whole discussion around mental illness or mental health issues, if your mind, body, and soul can kind of meet together or connect, then you're I'm not saying
what I just say, mind, body, soul, and spirit. Before I even got on this live,
one's working better than the other. Then I don't understand how anyone could think that they're complete in that particular way, because the brain is very, very powerful. I know that at times I can be an overthinker, and I'm thinking all the time. And so for me, growing up as a kid, I used to hear my mother talk about people who they used, I think back in those days, in her mom's time, touched. And I go, what does that mean? What does touched mean? And
touched.
Who wants to be associated with being touched? I mean, you can be touched for good, but then it was the way that they were speaking it, it was not touched for good. And so you heard also, because as a kid, I wasn't a snooper, I didn't listen a lot, but I would hear through another sister of mine that my mother's discussions were about, well, they're a little special. And it's like, what does little special mean? Does that mean that they're loved deeper? I mean, what does that really mean? And so I think that the continuations of these kinds of stories and associations has made people think that when you are being presented as such, why would you want to have that associated with you? Which brings us back again to stigma. For me, always being the type of person that I've always been the unique person, always. I just have been. And I've always been special. My special good. And I love being the fact that I'm a unique human being, that I'm open to hearing more about what people's experiences are. But I think that we should all be encouraged that people should have a little bit more sense of feeling comfortable now, because we're living in a time where so many things are like a yes. I mean, so many people are open to so many different experiences. I guess that's what I see being in fashion and beauty or industry. I see people just open. So if you're open to that, then please be open to what the mind can share and what the mind can do. And I think that the conversations, and this is something that I'd like to open and get the males and females, to come together and have a discussion. That is something I am working on, by the way, for my platform. It's the return of the lady meets the return of the gentleman. And to have that open discussion as to what is the reason, what is the reason why we just can't communicate in a way for me to understand. And I think also one of my newest phrases I'm saying is acceptance is healing. When you give in and let go and succumb to what it is that's going on within you, I think it's an opportunity for healing to begin. But when you're continuously fighting against something that I mean, the mind, again, like I said, is such a powerful force that when you're continuously fighting against it, you're becoming more and more unhealthy. And I think it's important that you understand that acceptance is so the key to becoming healthy, and just admitting that it's okay, And I think if we could have the conversation between the two men that have been present here, obviously they are one another's brother's keeper. I love that. Am I my brother's keeper? And obviously, yes, you are. And I think if men can have those conversations and make it comfortable for one another to share that, listen, last night I had this thought about, taking my own life. I think that we would be in a much better place as far as
I have my own company. I am my sister's keeper, LLC.
these two men just did here. They were totally comfortable with one another. Neither was.
Great conversation.
But I don't believe in ageism anyway. So, but still, maturity doesn't come from how old you are. It comes from your lived experiences again. So I think that we have a long way to go, but yet if we were just to open our hearts a little bit more and be accepting of the fact that all of us were not born the same, we're all different, and that we are special within our own right. So we could look at special now as being special is good. You know what I mean? Versus what I heard as a child, that it's well, I don't want to be that. Yes, I do want to be that, because being special means that you are, you get that little something that makes you unique as one of the creatures that have been blessed to be here on this planet. So, I could go on and on about this subject, Keita, and thank you for asking me what I felt about this. But I definitely think that as we progress, my first thing is to get men actually in a space of having discussions like we've heard here. And that is what I've been working on and planning. And this is one of the reasons how I pulled Kevin into this whole thing, was that I was creating a global symposium for men that travels the country. Actually, I want to travel the world with this, giving men a platform. And that's what I did in 2000. Gosh, when was it now? I said it was 10 years ago. It was 2000 and what was it? 2016, I think it was. Gosh, I'm losing time here. But my goal at that time was to bring men together and to have this open discussions, and to, one thing I did learn when I did do that, I hate to digress, but I definitely want to say this, is that men want to talk, as you have seen here on this platform. Men do want to talk, and men have a lot to say. I think it's important we as females if you are dealing with a male as your partner, that you understand, sometimes you need to take a step back and you need to listen. And that's how we gain value. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's so many women that are not willing to stand back and listen, and mm-hmm. I grew up, in a space where you didn't dare cut across my father, and you definitely didn't cut across my grandfather. You just didn't. Mm-hmm. That just was the way that it was. And so for me, this is like, again, why I came up with the Return of the Gentleman, and particularly, like, let's be quiet for a second and just let them talk. Like today, mm-hmm. I'm sure the women on this in the room today, that they have learned so much just by sitting here and just being quiet. Because
I know already what's going on. So me talking and speaking is I'ma talk and I'ma speak. I'm already knowing what's going on. So I'm spiritually tapped in. I'm just sharing this information with y'all to let y'all know I already know what I know.
We're all here to help one another, right? I mean, isn't that the purpose? We're here?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And, whether you're male, female, whatever, it doesn't matter what gender you connect to. But I think that it's just important that we understand how to relate better with one another, and just to get rid of some of these stereotypes. And I will say this as well. Living in this country, we have the most stereotypes of any country I've ever lived in. I lived in Europe for 5.5 years. No one classified one another with any types of particular groups. It just wasn't, that just wasn't the norm. And the other thing was that people didn't discuss age. People just weren't into that whole entire thing. They were just about, you're a person, I'm a person, we're sitting here, let's talk. And I think if we could get away from these stereotypes and these associations that are placed on a human, because God created all of us, and we're all uniquely different. And I think just having an opportunity to open up to one another in that particular way would be beneficial for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. We have to have we could talk about this all night long. We have to have another room, because I want to say this. Just to your point about women listening to men, it's very interesting as a mother myself of an adult son. I look at him and I still see my little baby boy and all that, but he's a grown man. He's 36 years old. But it's interesting because now when I look at him, I try to listen more, because he's like, well, Mom, you never really, you don't see me. You don't see me as I am, and it's a really interesting thing, as a mother, as a woman, to actually sit and listen to a man and really listen, not listen to respond.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So I think that you're on to something, lady. I think that's the next audio room.
I'd be honored to do that.
And we're definitely going to be doing that. At least for me, I have two more things, right? And I would like to hear L'Oreal's, maybe thoughts on that. But then also I brought up terms from the audience, because he had a lot of good insights, and I just want to hear what he has to say question-wise. But L'Oreal, let's start with you. How do you feel about this?
She actually, as I said today, she had like 4 or 5 patients of her own, so she's kind of checked out for a second, but
okay.
Back in the amount of time. I mean, my whole thing that one of the reasons I created the Return of the Lady was that my daughter and I could have a platform to speak on, and that's how Kita met us. Basically, was the mother-daughter platform that I have. So that's something I would like to do, because she and I have a lot to say. We definitely do, and how we see things. Being 20 years apart, and how we we see each other. We see things very similar. So that's definitely another opportunity for us to talk. But I definitely would love to continue these conversations and these relationships that we've established here this evening. Whenever I get together with Kevin, we never know how everything is going to end up. But somehow it always ends up in a blessed encounter. And so for me, I'm very happy that the universe brought the two of us together to to go down these paths together, as far as like helping others, and establishing great relationships, because we're again, being knowledgeable and being in touch. And I think all of us will agree on this conversation.
Great relationships, because we're
with what again higher power has given him as his goal, or his role on this planet. And I think we all can actually learn from that and learn from one another. Again, but you can't do that without listening to one another.
Absolutely.
And giving each other and being okay to say, you know what?
The key is listening to one another.
And that is something I think, as being a mom of two young adults, that I had to learn, that they, as they grew older, that they had voices. In fact, I was the one who encouraged them to have a voice, and to have a voice of change. And so I think that if we could just be, like I said, a little bit more mindful of one another, and not so judgmental about what a person's outer looks like, or how they present themselves, or how, because you never know a person's story, right?
Yep.
You just don't. You don't know what people are walking through.
Don't know what's going on with them.
You don't. You just don't. And I think that it's just important for us to make it okay. That was a benefit of living abroad, was that I never encountered things like that. It wasn't okay for me to be myself, or to share who I am, or to be, if you're a giver, like you're a giving person, is there something wrong with her? No, there's nothing wrong with her. It's just, that's who I am, And I just think that if we could just work a little harder and those kinds of things, and just make this world. I mean, we're in control of this. God, of course, the Creator is.
We getting ready to get up on out of here. I'm gonna play some more Fanbase, but you can download Fanbase. Download Fanbase. Make sure you subscribe for your chance to win 1,000 loves. Also, we getting ready to do a couple of more other things, and then we're gonna close.
As mental health, I think the universe has pushed us to the ultimate. It's the ultimate challenge of this is what you have. You either got to come clean with it, or again, we're going to have the issues that we're having with suicide being the number 3 killer of men across the board. That's serious. We're in an epidemic of crisis here in the mental health area. So I just think that we can't have this conversation. In my opinion, this conversation needs to be held in all houses. It needs to be held in all rooms. It needs to be held in, the coffee discussion, the cocktail discussion. It just needs to be had, and then the more we become getting more and more comfortable with the conversation, and not feeling like we're all so different. Now, I don't see the problem with being different, but some people do. Some people want to fit in, and they want to blend in. And, that's the thing, being unique and standing on your own is something I've always considered.
I love being unique. I don't want to fit in. Great point.
Okay. So I know we could go on, and I love having the opportunity to speak at this moment, but I know that the evening is passing on. And I do hope that we have the opportunity, Keita and Kyle, to come back with you guys, or to continue the conversation.
Absolutely.
Kevin, would you be up for that, Kevin? I'm sure he would.
For sure. Well, if you guys don't mind, right? I know that we're past 8 o'clock, right? Yeah. We're 15 minutes past. But at this point, does it matter if we go on for a couple more minutes? Because I know that Terms and Conditions wanted to come up here to ask a question, but then we also have a question in chat, and it's from Kelly, who says, people always say that journaling can help. Is it something you would suggest for people to try out? So we can answer that question after we have Terms and Conditions answers. Ask his question, if you guys don't mind.
No. I definitely
don't want to know. Okay.
I said when I came on, I was here for it. I'm definitely here to help change lives, and I can't wait to say what I think about journaling. So yes, continue, Kyle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. That was it. Terms and Conditions. Would you like to ask your question?
I'm sorry. I didn't know you guys expected me to ask a question. I kind of wanted to join the conversation.
Yeah. If you had something to add on. No, if you had something to add on to it, like that's fine too.
Yeah. So, to the point of what Lady was just speaking about, I'll start there. I think the desire to, I can say this, the desire to want to have a relationship with. Thank you, Y. Would love to connect with you. That is my whole brand, standing out. What I call it, that has been designed for us to separate while trying to unify. I often describe it as seeking unity, seeking fellowship, but operating in the cognitive state of mind, if that makes sense. With that being said, I think that is the issue that we face as human beings, due to the fact that, the paradigm shift many, many years ago, 60, 70, 80 plus years ago, from the said unity or village concept. And so when we try to unify with fundamentalism and things like that, we're going to run into the opposite situation due to the cognitive concept coming into play. This cognitive concept came into play when, I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but it came into play when the wars was going on and the soldiers came home and they realized that a lot of the men were messed up, and to rid them of their collective depression or the collective stagnation, they began to transition from the village or the community concept to a cognitive concept, which allowed each person individually to be able to pull themselves out, or i.e. pull themselves up by the bootstraps on their own. And I think, when you don't seek true relationship with other human beings, unconsciously you destroy humanity, because you aren't aware of what it takes to truly establish the humanity that exists. So it creates a cognitive dissonance, so to speak, if you will, when you, I'll describe it as a pillowcase. When you've been given a pillowcase to hold, to cherish, and to abide by, but you lack the understanding of what the meaningful life can provide for you. And so to refuse to want to operate at what the world talks about today as negatives and positives, good and bad, good and evil, different things like that, not understanding the download Fanbase. Links for that in the chat. Link for the room is in the chat. Not getting along, which then becomes something that people fail to identify with, but it becomes a cognitive dissonance on a collective basis because the practice of collectivism. So I just wanted to add that, if you will, and I digress.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. And what I would say to that too is it even predates the wars, because when even the initiation of America was a cognitive dissonance, because there was the idea of creating a land of free enterprise, free functionality, but at the cost of others, right? And when we think of a life lived in duality consciousness, which is kind of what you're speaking to, is what I teach and created is the difference between unity consciousness and duality consciousness. And our society reflects the world we built off of duality consciousness, which is the disconnect you're speaking of. And that cognitive dissonance is the belief that the diversity in life is a direct kind of like utilization of separation rather than what it's designed to be, which is unity is all diverse elements working together as one, but not everything being carbon copied, right? Like not cookie cutter. And when we lack the awareness of that understanding, we then see different cultures as a way to be separate rather than a unique expression of life designed to work together if we all understood how to function together. Because what you're speaking to in terms of the communal aspect is vital in terms of a village. And that's because connection is how creation is built. Right, like sometimes we'll talk about it in some of our men's groups, and some brothers will say we need connection. And kind of what I reply to that is we don't need connection as much as it's literally a part of the structure of existence. We do not exist without connection to source, to all of life. But when we live in the distortion, the cognitive dissonance, as somehow we are not connected to all of that, it leads to more of the distortion that then we build upon the society. And that is partly what happened in coming back from wars with the capitalistic mentality of get yours, do your thing, you know, and the nature of the village is a huge concept because life is comprehensive. And that means that it's important to
build a community, but be an individual.
to others and life as a whole, which is also we experience often if we take time in nature and some of those facets. And that's a huge part of the evolution. And right now society is, because society is not a cause, it's a side effect. So society reflects whether we're operating from unity consciousness or duality consciousness, and everywhere we recognize duality consciousness is where we believe in the value judgments and separation and opposition. But wherever we live in unity consciousness, we recognize everything is distinction and is all operating together. And if we were living from a more truthful awareness, we'd recognize the way that everything interacts and is intertwined rather than seeing it as separate and as an enemy and those things. So I appreciate you bringing that in to the container, brother.
Being interdependent instead of independent and being divided all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, because interdependence it represents synergy. And synergy is how nature works. Yeah, and that's exactly that. But and that's actually, I'm glad you said that, because that is the only purpose of independence. Independence is for the ability to recognize the sovereign portion of the whole, but not to see it as separate from the whole. Because if we can recognize each of our roles in the all we're a part of, the all that we are a part of benefits and reciprocates. And that's how synergy works. It's each individual part recognized and the whole recognized, and how that all dances together. So I'm grateful you just brought that in. That's so true.
Kyle, anything else?
Oh, sorry. Oh, no. Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, no, I had I'm sitting out on the back porch and my dog's right here, so I just had it muted because I don't know, dogs make a lot of noises. No, I think that's I really like that. And I mean, to me, this is such a powerful room. And Kevin, hearing you talk, right, like it just reinforces how I feel about making it more comfortable for people as a whole. But men, right? Because feeling that pressure, right? But I did want to hear some of L'Oreal's statements or thoughts on it. I know she's busy, so that's okay. But aside from this, the only other question that was left unanswered was the journaling question, and it's up to you guys. But after we answer the journaling question, we can end the room. But I would like to get that answered just so we can check it off and absolutely conversation points. That is a very good point. I've heard the journalism thing, and I will say this. I'll just be short on my thoughts on the journaling thing. Right. I believe that journaling is a good thing because you're able to get your thoughts and emotions kind of like off your chest in a sense, right? By writing them down. It's kind of like saying it out loud, but it's writing it down. And it's, kind of just your way of being able to express how you feel. For me, I don't have that issue of, or a sense of not liking it. I'm very expressive of how I feel. I don't really care how others perceive me in that sense, right? So, I've thought about journaling as well, just if I feel like there's no one there to really talk to about it. But I do think that journaling is a good thing, and that's my thoughts on it. So I'll just leave it there. I'll land, as people say, I'll land my plane, and I'll let everybody else talk about it.
Yeah, sure.
Lady, you want to go and I'll follow you?
Yeah. So here's the thing. You're talking to a writer here. I write on Medium. Are you guys familiar with the platform Medium?
I am, yes, and it's a very big like blog / journalism, site or platform, I should say.
Yeah. I'm so blessed to be on it. I started writing for a magazine, online magazine, and My platform is called Timeless Beauty with a Lady, but it has nothing to do with beauty. Like, please don't ask me a lot of beauty questions, even though I can answer them all. It was about your inner beauty is the reason why I started writing on that platform. So I believe in writing. In fact, I was a little kid who wrote poems as a child, and I found this planet to be quite interesting and just so much beauty in it. And I still find so much beauty in our planet. And so I love writing. I think that I want to encourage people for like a platform like Medium to go on. And I mean, you don't have to be a totally 100% experienced writer. President Obama writes there, but you know, there's other writers who are just beginners and things like that. I think it's important for you to have your freedom of expression by any means necessary. I do believe that things that have helped is that you write a letter to a person, like just say that you have something with a person who you don't feel you were treated fairly or whatever, and you want to get it out. Write a letter to the person. Never send it. I'm sure you guys have heard that before. You know, just never send it. If you choose to, you do. If you don't, but I just think that it's important to jot things down, because then, you know, they become reality, in my opinion. And then you can look at them and you can have them there as an expression of getting, you know, of release, especially if you're choosing not to speak to someone about, you know, your day-to-day life and the things that are challenging you mentally. So I would like to encourage people to definitely write. You know, like I said, start basic, start just writing, you know, something simple each day. Start, you know, buying like a little composition book. I have so many of those, you know, and start telling a story. That's the other thing I want to encourage people to do. Write your own story, you know, be encouraged on that as well, because everyone has a story to tell. And so I'd like to, you know, finalize my answer with saying that I think that we all have a voice. Someone wants to hear your voice. You know, never think that you're silenced. You know, there's always someone that wants to hear what you have to share. And you never know. Here's the other thing. You never know when you will be that light that makes someone's day. So, Kevin, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And just to piggyback off of that, honestly, being able to get things out of your heart and head and on the paper is so helpful for clarity, for reflection, for forming the constant torrent streams of thoughts in a direction. And that's one of the things that journaling helps with a lot. Another thing is it helps you kind of retain information in the exploration. Like even if you're just waking up from a dream and you want to make note of the dream or something you tapped into in a day, writing it down helps, and then you can reflect on it later. The other thing is it's kind of like a dialogue. You know how sometimes we have experiences where we're looking to make sense of it inside of us, but it helps when we can have a conversation with somebody and we just kind of bounce things off of them. Yeah. Journaling kind of also helps with that for us as individuals. Right, it's like us bouncing off ideas within our own selves on paper, and we're having this dialogue with ourselves. And I'm in wholeheartedly agreement with Lady in that it's important for us to be able to express ourselves in any way possible, because we're designed for it. And the relationship of listening and talking is an important thing. And sometimes it helps for us to kind of hear ourselves through our experiences. The only caveat I would say to that is, when you do journal, especially to help for clarity, you want to know what to extract from it so that you can put to use. Because what you want to catch is, if in the journaling, because it's not so much an answer as much as it's a tool. You don't want to get caught up in perpetuating the story of what you are going through in the journaling as much as you want to pour out what's in you out on paper to then, like Lady said, build your story properly from a different lens, from greater clarity. But that's, to me, journaling helps a bunch with that, because even as a rule of thumb, if you find yourself stressing about things you have to get done, if you just pour it out of your head and onto paper, and it helps you sleep, it clears the system. And so being able to write things down, and the art of writing itself, like a pen to actual paper, energetically, is so freeing and such a healthy thing. So there's so many facets to that. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I want to say this has been an amazing conversation. I want to let everyone know that the lady and Kevin will be on Soul Sisters June 4th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and that's on the Pure Soul channel on Lit Live Radio, and we're going to continue this the discussion there, and hopefully we can have them back here at Fanbase in the audio room. Maybe this is the beginning of a weekly audio room. I don't know, but I'm just throwing that out there. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
I definitely think that this kind of conversation, like this is very, very powerful. And I really think that this kind of conversation is what, will really kind of help shed some light to people who maybe don't understand that, it's okay to not be okay. Yeah. And that's, that was the goal for this. We lost Mosquito. Okay, it's okay. But I still think that this kind of conversation will, really help shed that light that it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to talk about it, right? Especially if you can get that core support system, right? With friends, family, somebody, right? All friends are not the same. Yeah. It's really the friends. And those are the kind of friends that you need to reach out to, right? Like those are the kind of friends you need to how you feel about, because they're there for you. Even if they just listen, right? No, don't provide any kind of solutions. They just listen, right? And that's that's the important thing for sure.
Well, you know what I want to say to you guys and encourage you to do this? Hug more. Just give people hugs. Hugs. I can't remember how many hugs you need a day. I think it's like for women, we need a lot of them, like 150 at least a day. But I want to encourage people to hug more. I think that we've gotten away from touch. From touching people. Yes, yes, we were highly involved in COVID, but for me, that was one of the hardest things was that I wasn't able to touch people because I'm a person when I'm talking to you, I have to touch your hand or touch something that lets you know that you feel my spirit and you feel the light in my soul energy. I think that's important, but hugs, that matters so much more than even speaking. It really does. And I think that's one of the things, Kevin, when I first met you and you hugged me, I was like, that was the best hug ever. And I think it's important to encourage each other. Hug. So just remember that as we get ready to close this beautiful evening. And I just want to say,
download Fanbase. We're getting ready to go over one more thing before we get up on out of here.
And I look forward to walking down this path and seeing the growth as far as where we're going to go with all of this, where you guys are going to go with this, because I am looking forward to traveling along on the experience, and definitely it would be quite amazing to have a weekly room. So I look forward to that as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you both. Thank you both.
Thank you guys for taking time out of your day, your busy schedule, to come talk with us and talk to an audience.
Thank you again for your time, guys.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. And we do too.
More than welcome. And here's my closing thing. Stay safe in the world. Love and light.
Smooches and a cup of tea.
Okay, guys. So that was that audio room. That was that audio room on Fanbase. We stay here a good, wonderful time. Please make sure you join me. Please make sure that you join me over here on Fanbase. Import. You know what I'm saying? Download Fanbase. You know what I'm saying? Download Fanbase. Let's go ahead and get to some music. Some relaxing Fanbase music before we get up on out of here. Fanbase music before we get up on out of here. This new music segment. Oh man, let's get into it. Happy Friday, everyone. Let's go ahead and get into this beautiful news segment. You know what I'm saying? Music segment. Okay. Please join me for game night over here on Fanbase. I also have movie nights. Ooh, excuse me. every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's go ahead over here and let's go to Fanbase Plus. Let's go. All right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What's up, fan base? You know what time it is? It's time for morning cookies news you can use on this May 31st, 2024. That's right, it's the last day of May. I will be in the audio room from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. Come start your day with Queen Mo in the morning. You know what? Let's go ahead and get some music before we get up on out of here, because that was just a wonderful audio room. Enough to be said. Thank you for sharing your time with us, with me, with Fanbase. Let's get it. Let's get it. Just Brittany. Just Brittany, man. Fanbase definitely has some music going on. And this just dropped. How many hours ago? Do we got the hours on there? Yeah.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Just Brittany, and what gets me amped up is my man. Period. My man, he gotta be different. My man ain't fucking these bitches. My man, he one of them niggas. My man be standing on business. I like it when he takes his time. I know that I don't play by mine. When the love is real, it feels right. This ain't no sneaky link. My man, he's next to me, yeah. And he hit that spot that only ain't no pressure on nothing, he's only pressed for me. He calms me down when I'm feeling under stress. Kiss me and hug me and tell me, baby, that you the best. It feels right. It's something that I can't explain. You came at the perfect time. My man, he gotta be different. My man ain't fucking these bitches. My man, he one of them niggas. My man be standing on business. I like it when he takes his time. He's doing me right and treating me right. When the love is real, it feels right. I know it feels right. I mean, it feels like you got me locked inside your heart and it's concealed tight. This can't be real life. I mean, you still nice. For you, I will fight. You give me chills like whoa. You a different type of cold, and I'm my guy 'cause I'm a different type of bold. You give me the world, the last one got my planet wrong. Come let me rub your feet from your business. You standing on good. My man, he gotta be different. My man ain't fucking these bitches. No. My man, he one of them niggas. My man be standing on business. I like it when he takes his time. He's doing me right and treating me right. They know that I don't play by mine. When the love is real, it be holding me down. He ain't giving excuses. Even if I fall, he's picking up the pieces. And I don't care about these niggas, no. When I'm with him, he be in control. Oh, yeah.
All right. Yes. So we are getting ready to get up on out of here. But that was Fanbase. You got investing. You got 100% income. Like, you got good music. You got 100% revenue. You can invest. Like, where you gonna go? You know what I'm saying? Where are you going to go but nowhere but Fanbase? You hear me? Like, you got everything you need up in here, okay? So, definitely, we man, I just, man, it's time to go. But we getting ready to go ahead and get up on out of here. Yeah, we getting ready to get up on out of here. Definitely get up on out of here. But Friday evening, hang out and chat. You know how we do. You know what we do. You know where we do. Always Queen Mo, Monica Love TV. Always giving you some of that heat. You know what I'm saying? That heat. That Friday, them Friday vibes. You know what I'm saying? Them Friday vibes. We about to go on a, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're doing big things. You know what I'm saying? So if you enjoy, make sure you subscribe. If you enjoy this good music, these good vibes, this good energy. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely around. Positive vibes, positive energy. Always, always. Always dropping that heat for you. You know what I'm saying? You know how we do. You know what I'm saying? Know how we do. Make sure y'all take care of yourself, and I'm definitely, you know what I'm saying? I would definitely. We got movie night tomorrow on Fanbase. You know what I'm saying? We got movie night on Fanbase. You know what I'm saying? We got movie night on Fanbase. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're doing some movie nights. Movie nights. You know what I'm saying? Movie nights. Whew. Bad. Like, we doing our thing. So with that being said, let's go. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
All right. Freeway. It just went on, bro. I mean, y'all. So damn good. You look so damn good.
If I spit it out,
So damn good. Whenever I see you, I be like, God damn. My baby super nice. To my perfection, yeah, my baby shake right. Look at that booty poking hard and that white. Hands on, fellas, yeah, just right. Watch the woman of my dream, this woman give me life. Yes, first class tripping off on every flight. Check out these eyes closed. A real lady in the street, a super freak behind doors. I love you in the pride, say, that's me. You got damn right, that's my baby. So damn good. You look so damn good. So damn good. Don't try to holler when you see her out looking good. Unless you want some hood. I just popped a new stick and it shoot good. Who ready to crash or what's a nigga wood? You can call me what you want, but it ain't good. I got nigga beast mode in the streets, no. She got me some crown. Never mind what them haters say. I swear them people say anything. You try to kill a good day. Promise that you will never change. And I'ma do the same thing. You my baby. So damn good. You look so damn good.
next Friday, 6:30. We out.